Hi, this is Shilpa Bhoraskar here. I'm the author of the HomeoQuest Software, and I hope you're enjoying this wonderful training by Dr. Gajanan on the brand new approach to your stuck thyroid cases. Now, today I'm going to demonstrate how do you implement his old and his new approach through the HomeoQuest software. So for this, we're going to choose one of my favorite cases by Dr. Gajanan, which is this case of hypothyroidism. So I'm going through the same PowerPoint that he's provided, and then we'll implement them through the software, all right? So as Dr. Gajanan mentioned, she was a female of 38 years who came to him in about, I think, 2016 with hypothyroidism, and these were the major things that she expressed: obesity, edema, weakness on exertion, dryness of skin, body ache, palpitation, and anxiety. And these were her TSH levels in June, 6.2. You know, the normal is I think around 4 maximum limit, and so she was high. And then he got some history. She was a Buddhist monk living in a Buddhist hermitage since her divorce. A very stressful married life, abuse, emotional, physical, by husband and her in-laws. And in that state, she also conceived. She aborted during one of her fights, and then she's had two, habitual abortions after that as well. So she miscarried twice after that. Now, again, this entire state was completely harassment, physically, emotionally. And then when he asked her about the experience, it was like a Loganesi shock. So Loganesi is the Nux vomica group of remedies where you have intense shock and the sensitivity to that. She was also quite sensitive to tobacco and a very chilly patient. So that was the main thing. The analysis brought up a lot of grief, a lot of abuse, and that was why she took on this path of meditation. So this extreme sensitivity and shock and grief which led her to this state. So these were the major rubrics that he took, were ailments from, especially after miscarriage and her kids dying, grief, tobacco, chilly patient, and losing people that she loved. Now I'm going to actually implement it through the software and see how we go. Okay, so at this point we have a library with different repertories and different books. However, I'm going to use only our master source books because I know Dr. Gajanan is very fond of the source books like Fatix and Boger and Clark's and Farrington. So we are just going to use the source books to demonstrate how you solve this case using repertorization. So this was the way he used in 2016. So in the Repertory Search, we have basically a search program that can find rubrics from all repertories that you want to use in this program. All right, and we have chosen through the options here only the source book by the masters in the past. And the first rubric that I'm going to really look for is grief, ailments from. So what I'm just doing here is basically typing those words that you want to search with a space in between, say search, and it brings up all these different grief rubrics for you from Kent, Nair. We have basically two major books here which they've come up from. Let's put in the first rubric that comes up, grief ailments from. Okay, the next rubric that we are looking at here is that silent grief. So she suffered that grief and that abuse in silence. So silent grief, and look at that, lots of rubrics with silent grief. I'm looking for a big one here. I'm looking for a big one. I think there was one in Bonninghausen, really good one, emotions, anger, vexation, etc. But there is silent grief. She's been suppressed and she's been aggravated since. A good one here. I'm going to use this. Okay, next one, there was the sensitivity to tobacco. So I'm going to put here tobacco and see what variations we have, what different types of rubrics we have with tobacco. So look at that. You have tobacco smoking. What else? Causative factor from tobacco. This is a good one. From tobacco, complaints before and after meals. What else? Smoking tobacco, nausea from, drug states. This is again from Jeremy Shears. Okay, what else? Pain tobacco from, tobacco aggravate. This is, I like this. This is a big one, 65. Let's use this. Okay, and then lastly, she was a chilly patient. So we're just going to take cold, aggravate, general. Yeah, a big one again from Ken's. I'm going to use this, cold. So you double click and the repertorization starts right at the bottom here. So these are the major rubrics I've took. I'm going to use a rubric repertorization coverage strategy, which means remedies which cover all the rubrics come up at the top. And you can see, very interesting, you have a few remedies here. 2 of them are from the Nux vomica family, Ignatia and Nux vomica. In the first 8 remedies that cover all rubrics, 2 of them from the same family. Tells you how strongly that Logenaceae family and Gelsemium, look at here, another coming up, but it doesn't cover the cold in general aggravates. Anyway, what we are going to do is, let's see what Dr. Gajanan gave her. So the remedy given was Ignatia, which is, interestingly, the remedy from the cancer miasm suppression and Ignatia remedy there. So he gave her a 1M and a 10M LM scale over a period of 6 months. And yeah, the thyroid levels, TSH levels dropped to 3.8, which is good, which is just below the upper limit, and she was better for a period of 2 years. And then what happened? After 2 years, she came back again with these symptoms: dullness, hair fall, weakness, weight gain, swelling of feet, pitting edema, sleepiness, weakness again, pain in the legs, and better by warm bathing. So she was investigated again. And yeah, there was a recurrence. Look at the TSH, shot up 53. That's huge. The anti-TPO, the thyroid antibodies, are 104. So she's demonstrating, autoimmune thyroid disease here. And this time she was using, Dr. Gajanan used the refined approach using his thyroid case paper. And this is a bit different than your conventional thyroid case taking. So now we're just looking at the thyroid state, as he mentions. And let's see what happened here. So this is his case paper, and you're looking at different important questions and you're trying to find out the causative factors. There is one important trigger here, which is she was going through, there was suppression of menses, and she was actually going through menopause-like symptoms, and she's just 40. So this is pretty early. So there is this premature menopausal state of suppression of menses coming up. And then we have other symptoms going on, So I think this is a pretty comprehensive case paper where you can get all the key notes, pathological, physiological, that can tell you what have been the key state of the thyroid since the changes happened. And one important thing he found was there were 2 abortions, and then there was this history of tuberculosis in the sister, which is important, and another miasmatic strong history of not being well since. And these were the investigations. Of course, the TSH shot up 53 and the thyroid antibodies. There were 2 key things that he found in the thyroid state. One, that this thyroid state, the new one, is coming up around this whole suppressed menses, premature climacteric sort of state. And the other thing was there was this strong family history of tuberculosis, which is also one of the main blocks as he has seen in his clinical experience. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to demonstrate how do you analyze this new state in her, and how do you analyze it using the new resources that Dr. Gajanan has created, his thyroid repertory, his thyroid medica, and also the source book that he loves using. So for this, I'm going to now go on to something called Quest, which is a very unique aspect of the HomeoQuest software, where you repertorize not just from the repertories but also from the medica. So it's basically a globalized repertorization from the medica and your entire HomeoQuest database, right? And what I'm going to do here is, the first thing I'm going to put in is this goiter that she had from around this menopause. Okay, and then look at that. you have 4 important remedies here, and this one is lachesis, vipera, amyl nitricum, and ferrum iode, and all of them are from Dr. Gajanan's, Dhanipkar's Thyroid Repertory and Thyroid Medica. Okay, and these are the 4 important remedies that come up in that. We're looking at the next one, goiter with menses suppressed. So again, similar thing, you just put those keywords, and the data is shown not just from the repertories but also from the Medica. So as you can see, goiter menopause is present in no other repertory or book Medica in the entire database. It's only present in Dr. Gajanan's Thyroid Repertory and Medica. So let's look at menses suppressed. Now, menses suppressed comes up from a few works. You have Fadak's Repertory of Medica, which has goiter from menses suppressed, and there are 2 main remedies here, ferrum iode and ferrum. Okay, so these are the symptoms for ferrum iode, and these are the symptoms for ferrum. And for ferrum iode, you have Nair's Repertory of Herring's Guiding Symptoms, which has menses suppressed with a lot of different things with goiter, associated goiter. With what else? You have Dhanipkar's Medica of Thyroid Repertory, which also mentions menses suppressed nervousness with exophthalmic goiter, and Fadak's Medica exophthalmic goiter with suppressed menses. So there is this connection between suppressed menses and goiter in ferrum iode and ferrum metallicum. Let's look at the third symptom, and that was this tuberculosis taint, which is a very important miasmatic condition. And this comes up from a lot of different works. These are the top remedies for tuberculosis, and look at them. They're coming from different parts of, this is calcarea, tuberculinum, iodine, phosphorus, all the top remedies. Now, these 3 symptoms are repertorized from all repertories and Medica, no matter where they are. And the analysis at the bottom are the top remedies that come up for these 3 symptoms. Okay, so what we have is we have ferrum iode, we have lachesis, we have ferrum, but ferrum iode is like the topmost remedy that covers all these 3 symptoms. We have goiter with menopause, goiter with menses suppressed, and tuberculosis as a state. And so if you read ferrum iode, you click on that, and these are the Medica in which ferrum iode is present. And let's look at what Medica you want to check from. We'll check Dr. Dhanipkar's favorite work, Fadak's Medica. And look at that. This is a useful remedy for glandular enlargements, new growths, and uterine displacement, debility, exophthalmic goiter with suppressed menses that you saw, and then a lot of interesting female symptoms coming up there. But menses absent with goiter is a very strong state. Let's look at Dhanipkar's Medica, and you see suppressed menses, such a strong state with goiter, with protrusion of eyes, with thyroid enlargement, very indolent and sleepy, which was also her state. So this was where ferrum iode comes up strongly. And let's see what Dr. Dhanipkar gave her. And he gave her ferrum iode in a 6x potency intermittently for 3 months. And let's look at the TSA chart. So this was before case taking in 2016, when she had 6.2, which was high. After Ignatia, it came down to 3.8 in about a couple of 3 months, and then it shot up again after 2 years, the recurrence, which was 53, and then ferrum iode, and then it just drastically went down to 2.4. That's absolutely in the normal range. That was the latest. So this is a summary. In 2016, the patient did well on Ignatia and remained okay till 2018, but then there was this recurrence where the TSH went up to 53, and the conventional case taking again showed Ignatia, because there was this grief was still there, and the abuse and the intensity and the sensitivity, but Ignatia did not do anything. And this was when then he used this specialized thyroid case taking paper, and he found 2 important things: tuberculosis and physiological change at menopause, at climaxes, and the menses suppressed, and the effect on the thyroid, which was the key to this case. And that's where he gave her ferrum iode. So you had 2 states. One was the thyroid and one was the constitutional, and that thyroid state had to be covered with the remedy before she could have a drastic improvement. So that's it. So hopefully this helps you, and if you're doing the Ultimate Thyroid Blueprint course, you're going to get the thyroid repertory and the thyroid materia medica by Dr. Gajanan as a part of this, and the thyroid case paper as a part of this course through the HomeoQuest software. There is a free version of the HomeoQuest software, so even if you do not have any other software, you can still use it and repertorize your cases and get the best out of these resources. So hope to see you in the course very soon.